What is going on, guys? PaPaSea back in the video for you guys. Today I'm bringing you my GBA versus NPA League War thing. I don't know what exactly this thing is called, but basically we have 9 coaches from the NPA facing off against 9 coaches from the GBA. We each played 2 games, I don't know why I started there, 2 games against somebody from the other league, and then I believe at the end we tally up the wins on each side, and whoever has the most wins wins the quote-unquote war, so to say. Want to say a disclaimer because people were misled, I guess. A lot of people thought that there was like some quote-unquote Twitter beef between like the NPA Twitter and the GBA Twitter. That wasn't real. Like, we had this planned for a while and people thought that we're having this war because we hate each other. We don't hate each other, it's just for fun, so just relax. But yeah, so we had the 14th pick in the draft. There are, I believe, I'm pretty sure it's 18, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, yeah, 18 coaches, 9 from each side. Now, the way the drafting worked was very similar to standard draft leagues, how they do it with tiers. You had 1 tier 2, 1 tier 2, 1 tier 1, 1 tier 2, 1 tier 3, 1 tier 4, 1 tier 5, a mega, and then 2 free tiers. That was, you used 200 points for that as opposed to 400 with 4. So you had 2 for 200 and a 4 for 400. So we had the 14th pick. As usual with most Sun and Moon drafts, I wanted Tapu Koko. We're going to do a draft analysis, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Only 8 Pokemon, too. Really wanted Tapu Koko. Always want Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko went first overall. We had the 14th pick. That's not good. So I don't really know what I wanted. And since we are basically a team, like the NPA is a team, the GBA is a team, we kind of worked together with drafting, so we didn't snipe each other. So we shared some draft plans. So I wanted to not snipe anybody, but I wanted a good Pokemon. It just so happened that Landorus Therian fell. You can see my full team at the top too. Normally I cover that, but I'm going to show the whole thing at once because I'm going to swing back and forth a lot. So I don't know what I wanted really after Koko was taken. I believe at this point Celesteela was drafted too. I'm going to try to keep it vague as to what other coaches drafted because I don't know if they want me to say what they drafted, and I'm pretty sure that everyone else can do draft analysis as well. So yeah, so somebody else drafted Celesteela on the NPA side, I guess I could say that. The other Pokemon that I wanted was, I was considering Mega Lopunny, I believe that one as well. And I was like, you know what, Landorus Therian is really good, so let's just take it. There's also one Z user on your team. There's no rules to which Z user can be, you just pick one randomly, which I think is a little bit weird. I like it when there's some sort of restriction to your Z user rather than just, hey, pick one. But Landorus not the Z user, Dragonite is, talk about that more later. But Landorus, like, I didn't know why I picked it other than it's just a good Pokemon, and I feel like when you don't know what you want to draft and Landorus Therian is there, it's a good starting point. So after I picked it, I realized, like, okay, we got a Stealth Rocker, got a good Defogger, sort of. We have a U-turn Pokemon. It's Landorus Therian. Like, it does a lot. So I really wanted to prioritize hazard removal, which in retrospect might have been a mistake because, like I said, there's only 2 games that you play and there's only 8 Pokemon on your team. So I kind of took Starmie pretty early. Like I said, I had the 14th pick out of 19, so it was at the back end of the draft. And I guess because I took Starmie a bit earlier, it was my tier 2. Starmie is one of those quote-unquote, I guess, crutch Pokemon you can say for me. What I mean by that is whenever I build a team, not really a draft team, just a team in general, I tend to lean towards Starmie a lot. It's one of those Pokemon I just really like using. I think it's great offensively. And I really wanted that Rapid Spin, but I didn't want to take something like Excadrill or something like Donphin because I already had the ground type in Landorus. I feel like it would have been a little bit redundant, so to say. So that's why I took this. Could be used, I don't really know. In retrospect, I kind of regret it, like I said, but it does fit the team at least. And then after this, I really wanted to establish the culture of just going for a lot of U-turns because I feel like generally whenever I draft teams that do that, I tend to do better in leagues when I have a lot of Volt-turn because Volt-turn's really good. So I took Darmanitan because it has U-turn, it has Sheer Force, it's really strong. Now, at this point, I have 2 good physical U-turners, and then this guy, which doesn't have U-turn, is more of a special, actually is a special attack, it's not a physical attacker in any right. So I kind of want to focus more towards special attackers, which you can kind of see later on in the draft. I do take some more special attackers. So my team is still more predominantly physical. So after this, I'm looking at like the teams and stuff, seeing who has megas and stuff, because you have to draft a mega. And I'm realizing that out of the NPA coaches, you know, none of them are going to take Mega Beedrill because I said I wanted it, and none of them wanted it either. And out of the GBA coach, I think at this point there was like 3 or 4 coaches who didn't have a mega that would draft in between me. So I was like, you know what, let's just lock it in now because Beedrill also gave me an extra 20 points back for my free tier. And I feel like if Beedrill got sniped, that would have messed up a lot of things. So I'm like, let's take Beedrill now as my mega. Very strong mega. It goes with the U-turn and stuff. And also, I try to be smart with this draft. I don't know if this is the right play or if I was just overthinking this, but at this point, after my first 3 picks, really after my first 2 picks, I should say, I tried to draft Pokemon that I figured would match up better against the GBA teams versus the NPA teams, because obviously, we don't play any of the NPA teams, we play only the GBA teams. At this point, we didn't know who we played, but I'm looking at Beedrill, and I'm looking at like 3 or 4 of the 9 GBA teams, and I'm like, Beedrill matches up really nicely against half of these teams. Let's draft it. Next up, really wanted the fairy as well. I was really looking at Slurpuff. Slurpuff was something that I wanted because it got Sticky Web, which would have been really nice because then it would have meant that like Darmanitan wasn't as pressured to run a Scarf, because I feel like Darmanitan's one of those Pokemon that runs a Scarf like 80% of the time. So I went with Comfey because someone in the NPA wanted Slurpuff, so I'm like, you take it, whatever. And I took Comfey. Comfey does not get Defog, I don't think. Does it get Defog? It does get Defog. That's why I drafted. Part of why I drafted it, I guess. It also gets U-Turn, which is really nice. I didn't realize it got U-Turn until I was about to draft it, because I'd never used this Pokemon. And it does get Priority Draining Kiss, which I thought was pretty valuable, because if you look at my team, Dragon types, outside of this one Fairy Pokemon, Dragon types are a bit of a problem because I don't have any immunity besides this Fairy type, and I don't have any resist because I don't have any Steel type. So I figured, let's take this because, one, it's immunity to Dragon, and the Priority Draining Kiss would put a lot of pressure on opposing Dragons because they just basically get two-shotted by it as I heal myself. Also gets Aromatherapy. I just feel like it was a good, sort of more defensive pivot Pokemon. It's also pretty fast. It's 100 speed for a defensive Pokemon. That's really nice. Not very offensive, obviously, but something I feel like would fit the team really nicely. And these abilities are pretty cool. Tri-H is probably the best one that I'd use the most. Although Natural Cure could be used too. So at this point, again, you know, I wanted to get another Volt Turner. I wanted something that was more of a special attacker because I guess Comfey is technically a special attacker, but it's only 82. So I want something a bit stronger, which is why I went with Zoroark. Zoroark is a really fun Pokemon. A lot of people still get tricked by it. You know, I know it is pretty easy to tell, especially in the mid to late game, because, you know, you have things like Stealth Rocks, you have things like Poison that can make you be able to tell where the Zoroark is, even if it's disguised. But I feel like, you know, the way my team is comprised is if I lead with Zoroark, it could disguise itself pretty effectively as quite a lot of Pokemon on my team. Like, it could disguise itself pretty nicely as Comfey because they both get U-Turn. It could disguise itself as Darmanitan, disguise itself as Landorus. Even Starmie, to a degree, could disguise itself as, because, like, the damage output could be similar. Like, if I run, like, a Timid set, like, a Timid Zoroark without a boosting item might do the same amount as, like, a modest Starmie with a boosting item. So, I don't know. Either way, I thought it was a pretty good pull. Pretty good pull. This isn't cards. Pretty good fit for the team. Also could be physical if I really wanted it to. Overall, it's a very nice Pokemon. Also a Dark type too. You know, another thing that I kind of didn't really mention is I didn't want to repeat types too much. I did repeat Flying, as you can see later on in the draft. But you know, being if there's only 8 Pokemon on your team, you can't really get everything. Like I couldn't get a Steel type. I couldn't get a Grass type. I don't think I had a Grass type. And it just, you kind of have to prioritize certain things over other things depending on how your team went. And I feel like Steel type wasn't as important for this team right now. Granted, if I could have gotten like Celesteela early on, or even something like Skarmory would have been nice. But it would have been pretty difficult to get Skarmory, just because the way my team was. I guess I could have got Skarmory over Dragonite, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So next up, I wanted another Volt Switcher. You can never have enough, I guess, even though I have like 6 already. I literally have 6 actually. 6 of my 8 Pokemon are Volt Turners, which is great. I definitely wanted another electric immunity because I just feel like only having this electric immunity wasn't that great, because people could just spam Volt Switch, stuff like that against me pretty freely, because if the Landorus went down, then that was it. But if I have 2 Pokemon immune to electric out of my 8 Pokemon, that means 1/3, is that right? 1/3, 1/4 of my team, math guys, is immune to electric, which is actually really nice. So it also could be physical, I guess. I mean, it's not really known to be an attacker. It's just because it's fast. It clicks Volt Switch. Also immune to grass as well, which could be a thing, which could complement this guy right here, I guess, kind of nicely. And then last but not least, this is a really fast draft analysis. Wow. I have Fafnir, the Dragonite. So at this point, I want to go over to the draft tab here. I constructed my team in a way where I could draft a tier 1 late, and I didn't really know what tier 1 that would be. There are some pretty cool tier 1s left at this point, like Blacephalon would have been really funny. I think that would have been really, really cool. You know, one of the reasons why I didn't want it, because it would repeat the flyer typing, but picking this repeat the flying type. I mean, I guess my thought process behind this is, yes, I repeat the flying typing, but Landorus, even if it wasn't a flying type, would still be weak to ice anyway. And Dragonite, if it wasn't a flying type, would still be weak to ice anyway. So they're both 4 times weak, but that means that they're forced to bring hidden power ice, I guess. You know, having 2 4 times weak Pokemon isn't really that bad. I could have also taken Salamence. Salamence was really tempting over this thing because Salamence obviously gets Intimidate, which would have been really great to have another Intimidate Pokemon to pair with Landorus, because double Intimidate could really, really be good. But I went with this. You know, I do have a decent amount of hazard removal where Fafnir, or Dragonite I should say, could pretty safely go for a Dragon Dance, find a multi-scale, and be pretty effective. And other than that, Dragonite's a Pokemon that I've used a little bit in the past. Like, it's never been a Pokemon that was super, super good for me, but it's always been, like, okay. I know some people, like, I know Choice Specs, who wanted to spoiler choice specs in the NPA thing too. I don't know if that was revealed yet. But I know like he really likes his Pokemon, and he kind of wanted it, but then I said I wanted it and he let me take it. I think he has a different dragon type anyway. Either way, I'm rambling. This is the team. Now we only have 2 battles. Honestly, not 100% sure when they're going up. I don't even know when this video that I'm recording right now is going up, but probably the day after this video goes up, you'll see the first battle, and then you'll see the second battle a week after that. I don't think I'm supposed to say who I'm battling yet. Ran into some complications with organizing this thing because, what was that convention that just went on? TwitchCon messed some things up because people got back later than they expected, and like we couldn't battle on time, and then some coach had to drop out like last minute. So things were a little crazy, but we got our team, and my battler didn't happen yet, but they're planning to happen, so that's pretty good. So that's a team. Should be pretty fun. I like this team a lot because you click Volt Switch a lot, or U-turn rather, because there's 6 U-turners. Which is pretty funny. Either way, I'm rambling. This is the team. Thanks for watching. Hope we get some victories for the NPA. Not sure when the next season of the NPA is starting, by the way. I know someone's probably going to ask that. I have no idea. I don't think it's possible to do leagues on Let's Go. I'm really rambling, so I'm going to stop talking. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Keep rooting for your New York Klinks. I'll see you guys next time. And bye-bye.